You might not realize it, but color theory is actually a really important part of filmmaking. And if you don't understand it or you're not utilizing it, you're missing out on a huge tool that can really help with storytelling. My name's John, and today we're going to talk about color theory. But before we can get into how you can use it in your next film, we need to understand the basics of it. So let's go over to the whiteboard and go over what exactly is color theory. Color theory is a body of principles used to mix colors in a specific way. And it breaks down colors into primary colors, secondary colors, and tertiary colors. If we look at these two different primary color groupings, we can see that there's a difference between the primary colors that we use in traditional mediums like painting and colored pencil, pastel, and the primary colors that we use in digital filmmaking. Instead of yellow, we have green because we use RGB, and the combination of these three colors equals white. Whereas in traditional mediums, you use red, yellow, blue, and the combination of these colors equals black. Now within both of these frameworks, we have analogous color schemes. We have complementary color schemes and we have monochromatic color schemes. Now a monochromatic color scheme is when we are using a singular color as the basis of all of our colors. You can have different tones, lighter or darker, but if a monochromatic scene is blue, all of the colors in the image are going to be blue, just to varying degrees of light and darkness. A complementary works by taking two different colors from opposite points on the color wheel and pairing them together. So red and green. We also have blue and orange, and purple and yellow. An analogous color scheme looks at a primary color and then the secondary and tertiary colors that surround it. So this could be yellow, green, green, and green, blue. These three colors are an analogous color scheme, and they work well together because they're all based around green, but they have mixes of blue and yellow in some of their different variations. Now there's a lot more that can be said about color theory, and I'll link a few different videos down below that go more in depth into the technicalities of color theory. But for now, let's head back to the table and talk more about how we can use this in filmmaking. So now that we have a good foundation and understanding of what color theory is, we can go over how we can use it in our filmmaking. Right now, I'm using an analogous color scheme because I have this yellow desk in front of me. I have these green leaves, this green shirt, and it's playing off this similar sector of the color wheel. And that's giving a certain warmth, a certain feeling of growth and life and nature in the scene. But green and yellow can also mean poisonous, toxic, envious. So there's really a lot of nuance to color theory and the themes, tones, and ideas that you can push forward in your film. And a lot of it revolves around the context surrounding the color that you're using. So we aren't quite monochromatic because we have this yellow table here, but let's envision that this table was green. Now that this table is covered with this green towel, we can see a much more monochromatic color theme. In the film Moonlight, there's a beautiful scene at the ocean where they use this blue monochromatic look to really impart a lot of emphasis and emotion on the audience. Now, more often than not, you're not going to see monochromatic or analogous color schemes, but instead you'll see complementary color schemes. Now, this red cup really pops with all of the green and yellow around it. That's because green and red are complementary colors. So if I want to give an object a lot of emphasis and make it really pop, I can use complementary colors to do that. But let's say I want to make me pop. Well, I can use the wardrobe and switch to this red shirt. So now, rather than using color grading like we did with the analogous color scheme and the monochromatic color scheme, we're using wardrobe and props to give a complementary look that's really helping me pop out from these plants in the green-yellow look. And that happens because red and green are opposites on the color wheel. Now there are a few other color combinations that create this complementary color scheme. We have red and green, like we're using, yellow and purple, but we also have blue and orange. And this is going to be the most popular one that we see in the teal and orange look. This can be seen in movies like The Joker or in Transformers, and it can be interchangeable about which one is more dominant, blue or orange. With these color scheme ideas, we can impart a lot of emotion and a lot of contrast and really help our storytelling. But it doesn't have to stop there. We can do a lot more with color theory. If we look at the show Game of Thrones, color theory is used as a key pillar in how they show the viewer where they are in the world. It can be used as a great world building tool. So King's Landing is going to look really different to how it looks at The Wall, where they have more of a monochromatic blue look going on. Now, we can sit here and talk about color theory all day long, but the best way to really learn about it is to go out and practice it. Try out a complementary color scheme, try out a monochromatic scene, and see how it makes you feel. What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? But just know that regardless of the color scheme that you choose, the colors that are in your next project are going to inform whoever's watching how they should feel, where they are, what time of day it is, whether you're aware of it or not.